Hello everyone, David Payne here with Horizon Hobby and Spektrum RC. We are back. We're now at Eli Field. We've done all of our setup for the 339 with the new Synapse module and the PowerSafe receiver, the 2410T. And now we're going to walk you through the first time flight and give you some tips and tricks and pointers along the way to make sure that you have success and have a great first flight. Get your Synapse set up correctly and just go and enjoy it. Okay, first and foremost, we'll go through a few pointers, the first time setup. You know, we covered it on the bench. We want to make sure the airplane is completely set up. All of your travels, throws, dual rates, alarms, telemetry, anything you want to use, go ahead and do that. Get it done so you don't have to think about it at the field, you don't have to worry about it. So we've done all that. We've also this is a brand new model, so we've done a range test to make sure that's working. And so now you're basically ready to fly. One more thing I suggest doing just to make sure is we can do another gyro response test just like we walked through on the bench, just to make sure that the gyro is going in the correct direction. We'll make sure that our actual stick inputs are going in the correct direction. And we can also check the gyro knob again just to make sure the gyro is responding correctly. Once those three things are done, your airplane's fueled, your timer's set, you're ready to go fly. Okay, so we're ready to go do our first flight, but we'll do a couple quick checks just to double check ourselves. First of all, just make sure that our control inputs are correct direction. So left aileron up, right aileron down, right aileron up, left aileron down, up elevator, down elevator, left rudder, left nose gear steering, right nose gear steering. Flaps up, flaps half, flaps full, and flaps away. So control check, that's all good. Another thing we can do is we can go and do the gyro response tests again, just to be sure. So gyro settings, system setup, utilities, gyro response test. So in this mode, you can hold the model and you can see the gyro response. So we're in a left bank and it's giving it right aileron, which is correct. Same for pitch up, it's giving it down elevator, and we're going to yaw to the right and it's giving it left rudder. So you can double check everything and just make sure the gyro is going in the correct direction. So we'll exit out of that. One other good check just to make sure. So right now my gyro gain is turned full counterclockwise or gyro off, and I'm going to throttle up just to activate the gyros, and you can tell that nothing is happening with the aircraft right now. Now if I turn the gain knob full clockwise, you can see that we get full response from the gyro. So we know the gyro is working. So, all right, for first flight, I suggest that you start with the gain knob all the way off, get up, get trimmed, get comfortable with the airplane, and then slowly start adding gain in. So that's what we'll do next. Okay, so we're running and we're going to taxi out for the first flight. We've checked already, our gain knob is turned all the way off. So we're going to go half flaps. And while I'm taxiing out, I usually try to do another control check. Left aileron, right aileron, up elevator, down elevator, left rudder, right rudder. Just good habit to get into. I can't tell you how many times I've seen someone have that happen to them. So just a good habit. Any airplane, any flight, I usually try to do a control check. All right, we're set. Flaps are at half, timer's set, brakes are set, gain knob is off. We're ready to go fly. It's kind of a gusty day today. We should really be able to see. You can see the airplane bouncing just on takeoff. Remember, our gyro is off right now. So gears away, flaps are away. You can already see the airplane bouncing around. So first off, we're just going to make sure the airplane is trimmed. Make sure we're comfortable. Feel the airplane out. Just make sure everything is as you expected it before you ever start to even worry about the gain itself. And as you can see, the airplane's really getting bounced around quite a bit. All right, so on this next pass, I'm just going to start slowly rolling the gain into the airplane. And at first, really all I'm looking for is to make sure that I don't induce any oscillations. And what we're going to start doing is just small control stick jabs for roll. Usually that's kind of one of the first ones to show up. So we're at full power and we've rolled in just a little bit of gain. All right, so far nothing expected, little control jabs, no extra oscillations, so we've got more to go. We can keep going on the gain. And so the first few passes, that's all I'm going to do, just upwind passes, full throttle, noting how the airplane's responding to turbulence, just normal flight without any kind of inputs. And also, as I roll the gain in a little more, I'm going to start doing, again, just small inputs, quick small inputs. Notice how the airplane's really starting to stop and lock in. So which means we're getting close, but we've still got more to go. We haven't found the place where it's oscillating yet. So as I'm making my downwind lap, I added a little more gain in. We're just going to repeat this maneuver until we start to find where the ailerons oscillate, either from the stick inputs or also from the turbulence, right? If you see it on the downwind leg and a good gust hits it and you see it starting to oscillate there, it's probably a little too high. All right, full power again. You can start just barely seeing a little bit of oscillation, but we're not there yet, so I'm going to add some more in. Same thing, always just looking to see how the aircraft is responding. Now on that downwind pass there, it seems like I could see where it might be oscillating a little. Again, this is a very gusty day today, so good time to really experience how good the Synapse can be. All right, full power again. See how the ailerons are bouncing right there? Yeah, you can see it. So we're starting to get there. I'm gonna go all the way up just to kind of show you guys a little bit more dramatic picture of that, but we definitely found where we wanted to be. You could tell on that fast pass, the gyros looked hyperactive, right? They were jumping around quite a bit. So that means we were there. We were at this point we want to be. I'm going to go just a little farther just to give you guys a better picture of that. So this is wide open gain. And you can see it moving around a lot. See how when it stops, you can almost see the surfaces in the sunlight bouncing against it. All right, so we know we found the spot we want to be at and we want to back off of that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to back off to about where we thought we were. I'm probably at about 75% on the knob if I had to guess. And I'm going to start flying around and I'm going to start testing for pitch and yaw axes also. Just looking to see how they respond, also paying attention to how the ailerons are now responding and how it feels. So full power again, pitch up, just small bounces. The pitch is stopping really clean. There's a yaw. So the yaw right there looked like it might still be just a little hot. So I'm going to back off that gain just a touch. Again, this is just kind of finessing the whole aircraft as far as how it flies and how you like the feel of your gyro while you're flying it. You can tell now the airplane is much more locked in, much more solid. Full power pass. Yaw. So you can tell now, oh, see, there was a little bit of bounce. So we're still just a little high. That was in the aileron, but it showed up right through the turbulence there. So back off a little on the gain, and we'll do that again. Now, at any point in time, if you find, there may be airplanes out there where you need much more aileron than you do elevator or rudder, or vice versa. You may need a lot of rudder on an airplane because the surface may not be as effective. We have set the gains as a default at 40% roll, 50% on pitch, and 60% on yaw. So in other words, if you're at 100% on your gain knob, you're getting 40 points of gain on your aileron. So if at any point you find that, out of the 3 axes, you need one just a lot more than the others, you can go into your gyro gains and say you wanted more yaw. You could go in there and turn that number from 60 up to 80. And so therefore, the balance between the 3 relative to the gain channel is now a little higher on the yaw. So you can fine tune it and finesse it to whichever stick and whichever control you need. So now that I've got it about where I think it needs to be, I'm just gonna start flying around. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of the flight and just note if there's any more bounces, note how it flies, note how it feels, how it stops, and just look to make sure that A, we might be a little too high still, or maybe a little low. Or maybe, like I said, maybe we wanna change one of the gains to be a little higher than the other two, the other surfaces. I don't know if you can hear the gusting, but it's definitely gusting today. We're probably at about I'm guessing probably 15 knot gust now. The airplane is just locked in. The Synapse really allows you to enjoy even a gusty, windy day. It allows you to enjoy the airplane and not worry so much about the environment. All right, I'm gonna come down the runway, concentrate on not touching any sticks and just paying attention to what the aircraft is doing, to the turbulence, to the wind. You can see that every once in a while it'll bounce around from the turbulence and catch itself, right? It's fighting that turbulence for you. So it drew a really clean, straight line, very level, very little effort on my part to hold that, even in this type of condition, because the gyro is doing some of the work for you. It's not flying the aircraft for you. At no point in time is it interfering with what you command, but it's certainly making it a much better experience, especially on a day like today. All right, I think the gains are just about where we want them. So from here you have a couple options, and once we get on the ground, we'll talk through those. Now, as you go through your landing procedure and get into the pattern, just note how the airplane reacts in slower speeds. You know, you have a couple options whether or not you want to use an adjustability to your gain and tie it to switches, or you can just lock this gain in and just be done. No thought, no worries. Just from then on, this is the gain amount that you will have. All right, so gears down, flaps to half, and just note how much more stable and how much more locked in the airplane is compared to when we took off with the gain off. Flaps to full. It makes it so much more enjoyable. Gives you more time to not only enjoy, but to think about flying the airplane and enjoy the airplane, not have to worry about necessarily counteracting something happening. Super locked in on approach. So much better with a Synapse. All right, from here, let's get taxied back and we'll talk through a few options. All right, we've done our first flight. We have the gain knob set to where we want to be. Now from here, you have a couple of choices. If you haven't watched our first two videos, I highly suggest you go back and watch those. They do cover having the ability to have multiple gyro gain positions and even an off switch. So if you're a person that wants to do that, you can do that and do that in a couple different ways that are very convenient. If you do want to do that, I would suggest you go back up and maybe do one or two more flights to really feel out how much more gain you can run while you're in the pattern, right, at the slower speeds, and kind of get that number in your head also. First, note the number you have here, but then also kind of fine tune and feel out your slow speed number, your lower speed number. But if you're the person that just wants to lock this in, what we just did, and you don't ever have to think about it again, you don't have to flip any switches, you're just done, you have that option also. So on my monitor screen here, you can note that our gyro gain channel is now at positive 21. So if we go into forward programming, and you go to gyro settings, and you go to AS through X settings, and you go to the capture gyro screen, what that's going to show you is it shows you the values from the weighted percentage as we talked about while we were flying, right? We have a certain amount, the knob is now giving us that. So from that, we're going to go and we're going to capture the gyros. Once you hit that button, it's going to turn off the gyro knob. It's not going to be relative to that anymore, so that's not going to work anymore. And those gyro amounts that you've done for all three axes, whether you adjusted the weight or not, are going to be locked in. So as soon as we hit that number, now that's done. Everything's locked in. This is now off. And each time you turn the model on, this is the gyro gain you're going to get, and it's just ready. It's just go fly. It's have fun. Enjoy it. All right, so now we're done. Again, if you haven't watched the first two videos, I highly suggest you do so that you can kind of figure out and fine tune how you want your airplane to be. But from that, just go and enjoy. We hope to do a few more videos that kind of get into more of the ability. There's a lot more power in this gyro, but we really wanted you to see how quick and convenient and easy it is to just, one flight, and we did enough that you're going to enjoy this airplane and you're really going to see the ability and improvement with a Synapse gyro.